and a standing ovation as 44,911 all of a sudden are Brian Holman fans. They are sitting in on perhaps history here tonight. So here we go.
There's really no such thing as perfection in the game of baseball. The game of baseball is so wrought with failure that the greatest players in the history of the game fail 70% of the time. Baseball is a tough game. And so when you look at some of the greatest accomplishments of a player, Pete Rose hitting over 4,000 hits, someone like Ichiro who hits over 200 hits in a season, a hitter that hits for the cycle or hits 4 home runs in a game, those are feats that are rare and are hardly ever accomplished. For a pitcher, though, throwing a perfect game is like the proverbial unicorn. It's extremely hard. It is a very rare feat that you never think about, you never think it's going to happen, and when you get to that point where it's happening, you're like, wow, this is pretty crazy stuff.
2 strikes, ball 1. Here comes the pitch. Strike 3. A no-hitter, a perfect game for John Larson. Yogi Berra runs out there. He leaps on Larson, and he's swarmed by his teammates.
A no-hitter or a perfect game are the 2 top feats that you could ever have as a pitcher. You have to be strong from the first pitch to the last pitch, and so you're not always strong in the first inning. You're not always strong in the middle. You just have to concentrate, and I think having good control, having great defense, obviously. Most of the time when you see someone throw a no-hitter, a perfect game, there's 2 or 3 great plays by your defense. And so when you go out and you think about that, it is so rare because, you know, in a perfect game, you can't walk anybody. No, there can't be an error. There can't be anything. You have to throw 27 straight outs, and that constitutes a perfect game, and that's just a rare feat. I'd never thought about throwing a no-hitter or a perfect game. I mean, it's something that you do. I wanted to just go out and win a ball game, pitch as long as I could, go out and have wins. We wanted to get wins. When you're playing professionally, wins are, it's kind of funny, but wins are money. And so you're trying to win a ball game for your team. And so you go out every game and do the best you can. And we were happy with throwing 7, 8, 9 innings and getting a win. So no-hitters and perfect games, those are things that just happen. You don't go out and purposely try to do them. The thought that you don't go out and even try to throw is an elusive feat as a pitcher. So when you get involved in one or you come close or you even experience one, you know, the first time Randy Johnson ever threw a no-hitter, I missed his no-hitter because I had to go back and watch my son being bored. Thanks, David. I missed Randy Johnson's no-hitter. But to see that and be part of that is amazing.
Browning has pitched a perfect game. 27 outs in a row.
27 batters. He retires all 27.
Marvin not killing on the pitcher's mound.
By 1990, there were only 12 Major League Baseball players in the history of all the major leagues to have thrown a perfect game.
Well, the Oakland Coliseum this evening will be bathed in a sea of green. It is cap night here, and it's going to be a sellout. And after all, what the Oakland A's have accomplished in the last couple of years, all of baseball is green with envy. Tonight, maybe tonight, is the night the M's can get a W against Oakland.
Brian Holman looking for his first victory against Oakland. He's 0-3, and he's pitched good. He's pitched very well in those games against Oakland, but so far no victories. Maybe tonight's the night.
When you're getting ready to go pitch in front of 40, 50,000 people and you know you're getting ready to compete against the best hitters in the world, you want to be pretty on and feel pretty confident that when you walk out on the field that you've got what it takes to win. On April 20th of 1990, I didn't feel that way. I'm warming up to pitch against the Oakland A's and I feel terrible. I don't have it. The last game I felt great and I lost, and now I'm pitching and warming up and I'm thinking, I have nothing today and I'm gonna get killed. My fastball's not fast, my change ain't changing, my curve ain't curving, my slider ain't sliding, and I better figure out something quick. In fact, I was so bad warming up that my own relievers were taking bets on how long I was gonna last and who the first reliever was gonna be in the game. Not so great teammates, and we laugh about that today. But the bottom line is, whenever you're struggling emotionally or you don't feel right, in baseball as in life, you go back to the basics. So I went back to the basics of pitching. Throw first pitch strikes, keep the ball down, throw the ball inside, don't get behind in the count, don't hang a slider to Canseco or McGuire. And I just start going through that basic process of being a pitcher. So as I go into the game and I go sit down, I'm sitting on the bench, they play the national anthem, you're sweating and you're breathing and you're getting ready to go out and compete. And so you walk out and you're facing the world champion Oakland A's, so your heart's pounding and you're excited, and they beat you the game before, so you want to try to be good that game. All that stuff that went on the bullpen, everything else went out the window, and I just started thinking one pitch at a time.
Fastball and a high fly ball. That's not going anywhere. Gets the crowd a little excited, but Greg Briley goes back to make the catch. And that big overhand jug got him. Game so far. Fastball blew him down. He just challenged him. Fly ball to left field straight away.
Fastball, fly ball into right center field. Griffey going back. The kid is there, and he's got it 1 pitch, 1 away. Out to hop out to Brumley at short. He's got it, fires.
I get through the first inning. I get through the second inning. I get through the third inning, the fourth inning. The game's kind of mundane. I'm not thinking about anything. I'm just throwing strikes, getting outs. Bob Welch is pitching for the A's, and he's throwing the ball really well. We managed to score a run, and so it's a 1-0 game.
3 up, 3 down in the first, the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, and 1 out here in the 6th for Brian Holman. And Mrs. Holman, if you have a VCR, put in a tape.
I get through the 6th inning, I get through the 7th inning, and I remember I struck out Jose Canseco on a 3-2 fastball up in the zone for the 3rd out, and I was pumped up. I just struck out Canseco, and I did a little fist bump, and I sprinted off the field, and I sat down in the dugout, and whoom, everybody gets away from me. Nobody would talk to me, nobody would look at me, nobody would get me a drink of water or a towel. I'm like, what is wrong with you guys? I happened to look up at the scoreboard, and it dawned on me. There were zeros all the way across the scoreboard. So not only had I not given up a hit, not a single Oakland A has reached first base. So I have a perfect game going through 7 innings. There's a lot of fear in baseball at times, and I hadn't felt any fear until I looked up and started seeing what I could lose. And it dawned on me, I've got a perfect game. What if I lose this?
Holman has been absolutely brilliant. I don't know whether the guys down there on the bench are getting the silent treatment yet or not, Joe.
I know I wouldn't want to be sitting next to him, but it looks like he is alone with his thoughts right now.
We do that as people. We worry way more about what we're going to lose than what we're going to accomplish. As I'm sitting there contemplating what's going on, I have to go back and calm my brain down and start thinking, hey, 1 pitch at a time again. Work on ground balls. Throw first pitch strikes. Don't get caught up in the fans because they're going to start, booing you and getting on you. And so I go out for the 8th inning, and I go 1, 2, 3 in the 8th inning, and I come back off the field, I sit down, and again, everybody gets away from me. They were literally not looking at me on purpose. Baseball players can be a tiny bit superstitious at times, and nobody wanted to jinx it. And as I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, man, this is pretty amazing. I'm really doing this. I got 8 perfect innings going, and I'm thinking, God, this is so great. Thank you for this opportunity. I love this. I'm enjoying this. But I really would like to throw a perfect game, so if I get a chance, that'd be great. I go back out for the 9th inning. I get on the mound. I strike the first hitter out.
Breaking ball got him. It was a ball low and in the dirt, but Jose goes around, and that is 25 in a row. Retired by Brian Holman.
The next hitter is Walt Weiss. He hits a ground ball to Harold
Holman
Reynolds.
Get it done. Weiss sends a ground ball toward the Holman. Reynolds is there to plug it up and throw him out. And we are 1 out away. Brian Holman has retired 26 in a row.
I'm 1 out away from a perfect game. I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I'm going to be in the Hall of Fame. This is pretty amazing. They're going to want my hat and my jersey and my spikes and my glove and my jock and my underwear, and they're going to erect this locker in Cooperstown and put all that stuff, and I'm going to be immortalized for all time as the 13th pitcher to ever get a perfect game in the major leagues. And then something magical happened. The greatest compliment any player on an opposing team can get is when the opposing fans cheer you. And so at that moment, 43,000 people in Oakland Coliseum got up and began to cheer for an opposing pitcher.
And the fans here, smelling it, they all of a sudden have switched their allegiance, I think. They would like to see Holman get it done.
It sounded like a 747 going over your head. It was so loud, it was vibrating, and it literally felt like the earth was shaking. It was an incredible feeling. And then they announced, now batting number 44, Ken Phelps.
And only Mike Gallego, or will it be Gallego? It will not be Gallego, as stepping up to the plate will be an ex-Mariner to try and break up the no-hitter and the perfect game. Kenny Phelps will come up and pinch hit.
And Ken Phelps steps in the box, and I rear back to throw a first pitch fastball to get over to Kenny.
53 at night. The pitch swung on and a fly ball belted deep to right. Cut out to the track. Fly away. The first pitch, a high fastball, and Kenny Phelps, a Seattle native, breaks it up.
Well, that ended fast. And just like that, it was over. I lost my perfect game.
A Seattle boy.
One bad pitch, one mistake, and this guy ruined my no-hitter, my perfect game, and my shutout in one swing of the bat. At that moment, it kind of dawns on you. I'm never going to get a chance again, probably. I wanted to crawl in the fetal position and suck my thumb and cry because I knew I'd never get a chance to do it again. But then you have a choice. You know, you got to get back on the horse and get back on the road, toe the rubber, get ready on the mound again and face your next hitter. And Ricky Henderson was the next hitter. And I struck Ricky Henderson out and the game was over.
Oh, the 2-2 pitch and the slider got him swinging, strike three. So one pitch away from perfection was Mr. Brian Holman tonight. And what a congratulatory group will come out to meet him. The first pitch to pinch hitter Kenny Phelps with 2 outs here.
As a pitcher, you never think about perfect games. You never think about no-hitters. You're in the focus of the game and you're competing. And then all of a sudden something magical like that happens. And so I didn't get a perfect game. I'm probably more remembered now for not getting a perfect game than I would have if I had a perfect game. But just the opportunity to do that was an amazing thing, and I'm very blessed to have even come that close and, you know, have a lot of fun pitching, and I get to teach kids and I get to tell that story. So I was very fortunate to have played, very blessed to have come even that close to a perfect game, and never would have thought it would happen in my career. When I reflect back at this 25-year-old kid standing on the mound, I was a baby. And what I learned through Major League Baseball, what I learned through that game, what I learned through is that it's the grind. You got to battle, 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 not only as a baseball player, but in life. And think about 30 years later, you know, where I am today and the things I've experienced. Baseball taught me a lot about life and how to grind and never give up. And that game certainly was part of that process of learning all that. Life is about imperfection and failure. Baseball is the greatest failure game ever invented. It is a game where you grind every single day to try to hone your craft. And through that process, there is tremendous failure. And so I tell a lot of kids now as a coach, I said, you have a forget about it bucket sitting beside you. And every time you make a mistake, you throw that mistake into the forget about it bucket. Learn from it, but don't let your emotions or failure hurt you. The greatest fuel in the world, if used properly, is failure. And so when you go through failure, you focus on the failure, you're going to fail. You use failure to make yourself better in baseball, in life, in relationships, whatever it may be, and great things can happen.